What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be sharing my JOLTIK box list that I'm going to be playing to NAIC, the North American International Competition. I'm also going to be giving away one of these, not this JOLTIK, but one of these JOLTIK illustration rares to one lucky winner. All you have to do is like, comment, subscribe. So let's get into the deck profile. First up, we got 2 copies of the JOLTIK from Stellar Crown. JOLTIK's attack Jolting Charge accelerates 2 grass and 2 lightning energies to any of your Pokemon. So that is super, super valuable. We're also playing 1 Galvantula because this Galvantula is pretty sick. It has an ability, Compound Eyes, that lets you do 50 more damage to Pokemon that have abilities. And its attack, Shocking Web, also lets you do 80 more damage if you have a lightning energy attached to it. So you need a grass and a lightning, and you get to do 180 damage, which is pretty useful in most matches where you're hitting into weakness, and or it can take out a Mew EX, which is pretty helpful. Next up, we got 2 Miraidon EX to help find our electric Pokemon with its Tandem Unit ability. Lets you search your deck for 2 basic lightning Pokemon and put them onto your bench. It also has an attack Photon Blaster for 220, but your Pokemon cannot attack during the next turn. It's for 2 lightning and 1 colorless. We also are running 2 Iron Hands EX. Its first attack Arm Press for 2 lightning and 1 colorless. Does 160, but its second attack, AB Very Much, for 1 lightning and 3 colorless, does 120 damage, and you get to take an extra prize card if you knock out a Pokemon that way. This is basically like your main attacker in the early game. Iron Hands cleans up some basic Pokemon pretty easily. It's pretty great. Then we got 2 Pikachu EX, which its ability Resolute Heart. This Pokemon has full HP and will be knocked out by damage. Instead of being knocked out, its HP is 10. And its attack Topaz Bolt, discard 3 energies from this Pokemon and does 300 damage. This is how you hit some heavy numbers in the late game. Pretty good card. We got, next up, Mew EX. Its Restart ability lets you draw until you have 3 cards in your hand. Pretty good draw support, especially when you are playing most of your cards out of your hand like this deck wants to do. Next up, we are running Iron Leaves EX. Its ability Rapid Vernier. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may switch it with your active Pokemon. If you do, you may move any amount of energy from your other Pokemon to this Pokemon. So essentially, you use that as like a pivot card if you get locked in the active, or you just need to switch, or you can switch right into it to take out somebody that's weakness to grass, and it's pretty effective. And if you also, you can just use it as a switch to put Iron Leaves in the active, attach an energy to it, and retreat it. And, or if you have Latias in play, you can give for retreat from that. Also, its attack Prism Edge does 180 damage, but you cannot attack during the next turn. Next up, we got Pheasantipity for some draw support. Flip the script. If your Pokemon was knocked out during your last turn, you get to draw 3 cards. Pretty useful draw support there. Its attack, I mean, you can use Cruel Arrow. It does 100 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, so you can use it, but that very rarely comes up. Next up, we got Ursaluna EX. Its ability Season Skill. Its Blood Moon attack costs 1 energy less for each prize card that your opponent has taken. So this is really good in the end game to sweep your opponent with its Blood Moon attack, which does 240. Next up, we got Clefairy EX to help soften up some Dragon-type Pokemon. Also, Clefairy is a pretty good attacker. It only takes 2 energies, and it can do pretty big numbers, especially if you have an Area 0 in play. Its Full Maroon Rondo attack does 20 damage for each benched Pokemon, yours and your opponent's. Next up, we got Latias EX. Its ability, Skyliner, lets your basic Pokemon have no retreat cost. So all these guys, except for this guy, has no retreat cost, which is pretty awesome. Lots of abilities going on here. So the Pokemon that target abilities are a little scary. Next up, we got our supporters. We got 4 Boss's Orders. Essentially, this deck just wants to charge up Iron Hands and then just boss everything that you possibly can on up and take it out for extra prizes. Pretty devious. Next, we got 4 Arven to help find our items and the couple tool cards that we play, which we do play 5 in my build. We got Crispin to give even more energy acceleration because we are playing a lot of energy. And the one thing that this deck struggles with a little bit is trying to make sure your energies are in the right spot and where they need to be. So, Crispin's very useful. All right, moving into our items. We got 4 Nest Balls to help find our basic Pokemon. We got 3 Ultra Balls to also help find Pokemon. We got 3 Pokegear 3.0 to help find our supporters, which is very, very useful. We have 1 Earthen Vessel, 1 Night Stretcher, 1 Counter Catcher, and we have our A-Spec Prime Catcher. The Counter Catcher is kind of like if they knock out your Joltik first, because they can't gust around it, you can then use Counter Catcher as a gust and save the rest of your gusts for later on in the game. Kind of want to save Counter Catcher just because you can find it with Arven, but if the opportunity presents itself, like you need to use Gust and then also Crispin, you can do that. That is it with our items. Next up, we have 2 Bravery Charms to give our basic Pokemon some extra HP. We got an Earthen Vessel to give our Iron Hands and our Iron Leaves at 20 extra damage and free retreat, which can come in handy if you start Iron Hands. Put a capsule on it, it gets free retreat. Pretty useful in the beginning of the game. We got Rescue Board to give our single retreat Pokemon free retreat, which also can come in handy if you have a Pokemon stuck in the active that only has 1 retreat cost, like the majority of these Pokemon. I think the only Pokemon that don't are Blood Moon and Iron Hands. Pretty annoying, but what are you going to do? Sometimes it happens and you got to figure a way around it. So we got 1 Defiance Band to help us hit for some extra numbers. So the idea behind the Defiance Band is to allow Galvantula to take out a Pokemon that has 210 HP, which a lot of Pokemon do, like Latias and Fezandipiti. Also, you can use Pikachu to take out a Pokemon that has 330 HP, which a lot of Pokemon do. All right, getting into our energies, we have 5 Lightning energies, 5 Grass energies, 2 Psychic energies, and 2 Metal energies. This, I feel like, is the best energy spread. I've thought about cutting one of the Psychic energies for just another tool card or maybe another supporter, but it just doesn't seem like a good idea. I feel like this amount of energy is good, especially if you can like make sure you distribute it evenly and have everything where it needs to be. That's like one thing that this deck kind of struggles with a little bit is energy at the end game. That's why I have Night Stretcher, and then you've got to remember your Ursaluna can attack basically for free at the end of the game, unless they haven't taken any prize cards. In which case, But the main idea of the deck is just start strong with hands, once you charge it up with Joltik, and then follow up with Pikachu, and then the last game turn, you use Ursaluna to take out something on the bench that has 240 HP. Okay, so let's talk about why I'm going to play a Joltik box. I think it has a pretty good matchup into Dragapult, Charizard, Dragapult, Grimmsnarl, for sure. Basically, any of the top meta decks, the Gardevoir matchup is probably like 50-50, I feel like. As long as like you can get your stuff set up pretty easily and double charm up your hands and then just target their Monkey Dory, it's a very winnable matchup. Just got to make sure you can get set up that way. The biggest threat is the Raging Bolt, which is why I'm playing the Defiance Band and the Galvantula to help take out some of those Pokemon that have 210 HP. And once you put up a 1-prizer, they have a hard time either gusting around it, and they don't want to leave a fully charged up Galvantula with a Defiance Band on it alive, because then you just put it back up in the active and keep KOing stuff if the prize trade goes like that. So eventually, they're going to run out of Gust, and they're going to have to KO the Galvantula. There's some other meta decks out there that I'm like iffy on, but like those are the main like 5 that I'm really worried about. EVBox, pretty good matchup. You just use Pikachu to take out the Flareons, and then so on and so forth. Also, to get around the Sylveon play, you just bench 2 Miraidons, and then they either have to discard, or not discard, they either have to get rid of both your Miraidons and or one hands and or hands Pikachu, and then you just restart the whole thing. So like Angelite, once you have 2 Miraidons in play, is a complete waste. Not that I'm worried that much about seeing a lot of EVBox, but you never know. When you guys are watching this, I will be playing, because this is coming out the Friday that NAIC is happening. So, wish me luck, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoy playing JOLTIK box if you're playing it, or any deck you're playing. Don't listen to anybody when they say a deck's bad. Just have fun playing what you want. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I'll catch you on the next one.